Okay, 7 o'clock. I call this monthly meeting of the Juneau Common Council to order. Would you please rise for pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The clerk call roll, please.
Evans.
Here.
Cootie. Here. Groton.
Here.
Burrows.
Here.
Runge.
Here. First item of business is agenda approval. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Morose. Any further discussions, questions, or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve minutes of previous meetings. Is there a motion to that effect? So moved.
Second.
Motion by Grattan, second by Runge. Any further discussion on those? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve minutes of intervening meetings.
So moved.
Motion by Morose,
Second.
second by Foodie. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment regarding agenda items. Mr. Offeld, please.
Robert Offeld. The rec director, I assume, from what I heard today, is resigning.
Correct.
Is it possible that the Y could be worked with? They work with Horicon right now to do their recreation programs.
I think that's a very good possibility.
I mean, it might be cost effective.
Absolutely. I haven't talked to Kay on this yet, but I was also approached by Jessica Johnson to maybe do a joint effort with the high school, or with the schools, the public school system there. So I guess we've got some other options. I know it's very hard for a community of our size to have a full-time rec director. It is a financial burden, there's no two ways about it, but we still want to provide quality programs for our kids, keep them off the streets, and do the best we can. But very good suggestion, and I did hear that Horicon has handled that with the YMCA. I don't know how, I haven't heard good, bad, or indifferent. I couldn't tell you. So.
They interviewed him on radio one morning, and it was quite interesting to find out. He kind of flexes hours and everything else. So
Who's he? Who is he?
I didn't catch the name
Somebody from the Y?
from the Y. He lives in Horicon, runs the program for the Y.
I think it'll definitely be something the rec committee can look into.
Horicon does have their own rec person. I mean, my understanding, Horicon has a part-time rec director. And the Y, that's children's programs. I mean, I think we have to be clear that recreation is from senior citizens, adults to children. So, I mean, we certainly will talk about it, but there's a lot of issues there that has to be covered.
Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak? You're down the way.
Okay, I was gonna say, you want me now or later? All right.
Communications. Paul Morose here to discuss pursuing library grant for a story walk.
I'll have to stand in front of the camera.
Yeah, stand over by Connie.
Oh, yeah.
You're-
Stand right here by me.
You're-
She's gonna help.
There you go.
Connie will help.
Mr. Morose, what would you like to say tonight?
I'm here on behalf of the Friends of the Juneau Public Library. We are mounting an effort to apply for a grant for a story walk to go up along the Wild Goose Trail in Juneau, since we don't have any jurisdiction beyond that. Horicon's got one. And I've been making the rounds for a while now. In fact, I was at the library committee, and we still await some written confirmation of their agreement, at least, to support this, not with any money. And I'm not here to ask for any money. We're going to ask somebody else for money. But nonetheless, what the Friends would like from the city council is a letter, an email to me, that they would support such a project if we were able to fund it. I've been to the county, I've been to the rec, I guess it'd be the rec committee, the trail committee, and they have forwarded an email of their support. That's some time ago, and as I said, I've talked to the library committee. I think you guys might be the last guy that's on my list. The reason being, grants are awarded based on how much multi-government or multi-population segments could be benefited by it. So we'd like to think the Juneau people would be benefited by it, as would Dodge County. There's a question about what it'll look like, where it'll be located, and we can't really answer that. We have an idea, but the fact is we don't know if we get the grant, how much we can put in. But what it is a series of stops along the trail, off the trail, not in the trail, which would then publish in weatherproof pages a book for young people, kids. And that would change periodically. It's the kind of thing, if you've got kids and you want to learn to read, or you yourself want to learn to read, you can stroll up the trail and take it in. I would guess there'd be illustrations to go with it, etc. So that's all I got. You need not agree, but we'd like you to. And again, we're not asking you for any money, not even relative to installation. And before anything is installed, we'd certainly contact the city again, and I suppose the county again as well, since they have the trail.
Now, this is just on the trail inside our corporate city limits?
That's how we see it, yeah. Because we're the Friends of the Juneau Public Library. And now, I don't know, I just don't know the answer to this, but as we all know, if you go on Highway 26 to the north, Juneau's city limits converge on a point out there up on a graveyard, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if to the east of, the east side of the trail, or to the east of that line, the trail is in the city or not. I don't know where that line runs, if it's up the middle of the railroad line there, or if that was a lot. What I'm saying is it may not extend that far, because that might not be Juneau, although we'd probably be looking at a west side installation. So keep it out of the way of the lawnmowers and the other stuff that go on the east side, in the
Yeah,
park.
looking at our map right there, it looks like east side of that trail is probably in the town of Oak Grove. West side of the trail to the point of the map there is corporate city limits, I guess. I don't know how
Sure.
far to the east side of the trail our corporate city limits extend, but.
But the idea is to spread it out some. Now, whether, we haven't really talked about this, but there was a time when there was a project done down on the trail, basically in the center of town off of West Oak Grove and south. It had to do with the planets. It was kind of nice. This is the same sort of thing,
Okay.
although that one was spread out to, give spatial and scale ideas as to distance. We would keep it closer together, but we would require people to do some walking.
Is that what the intent is? To get kids to exercise?
I think so. Actually, my people with parents with kids,
Right.
unless, certainly people with unescorted people could do it too,
And how many stops do you project within our
I
corporate city?
don't know,
limits?
Connie.
It depends, so, Horicum Public Library partners with the Marsh to do a story walk on one of their shorter loops near the headquarters there off of 28. A little bit of it depends upon a picture book, but generally a picture book is about 20 pages, 2 pages, so about 8 to 10 stops along the way. Horicum's is less than a quarter mile. The one in Watertown at their park doesn't even loop around, it just goes out and then they come back in, which would be similar to what we would be doing, because there's no loop, you can't like finish and end the story at the same point, so it would be like an out and back, or just an out scenario, and then people would come back on their own, so.
You gotta start the story on the far end. so
Or
when they're
come
all-
back in,
Yeah.
yes, somehow we
Finish it.
have to look at those logistics. The Story Walk brand is like a branded thing that was started out in the Northeast United States. And so there's lots of directions on how to implement and how to build the structures and how to legally take apart these picture books without having, liabilities from publishers and authors and things like that. So it's a very structured thing that the Friends would have guidance for.
Would you have more answers to your questions a few months down the way, or that
Yeah.
you want to run it by plan commission, and plan commission could forward it to the?
Yeah, I think.
We'll run it by,
It's,
I'm sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
We'll
Yeah.
run it by whoever we're told to. If that belongs with the plan commission, certainly I can go and talk to them too. The whole circular idea, I guess we could do that, on two sides of the trail, but we're not, given that, we're sort of a one direction thing. I also heard at the last Friends meeting that there's at least one local author who writes such material.
Well, yeah, so she's more of a chapter book.
Okay, I'm sorry, she's a chap, never mind. But, if there were Dodge County, children's authors, and I know there have been, it'd certainly be the people to invite to be part of this.
A lot of times they're tying in the picture books with a nature theme and things related to what you might see at that time of the year on that particular trail. So they would change out the books on occasion as well, so it could be used over and over again.
Should any of the stops be in the park? Because if you went to the park, now you could add another entity, the daycare takes their kids down to the park in the
Well-
summer, so there'd be another entity to write a letter to help out
You talking the city park or the Wild Goose Park?
the city park.
Oh.
I've seen them in the city park. Now, they may make it down to the other one, but just a few.
But they want to stay on the trail.
If-
You don't want to leave the trail.
Well, if we could, we
Well,
hadn't
So
talked.
I'm coming into this mid-discussion since having started, but I think the concept, from what I understand for the Friends group, is to incorporate something within the Wild Goose Trail that's still part of the city, but also it can get publicity and promotion through the county and the park system there as well. And usage from people who maybe didn't stop in Juneau, but they're doing the trail, and then they become aware of Juneau, the library, and the Friends group that way, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I just want to mention, I'm not trying to put a cart before a horse here. You did go to the library board, but, if you'd like me to approach specific committees who would be involved first with the report back to you, that's fine. I just figured I'd start here, and if you guys didn't approve it, didn't like it at all, then there's probably no reason to go anywhere else in the committee sector of the city government. But whatever you tell me, talk it over, but something in writing is necessary, because what we'll do is we're gonna put a package together, and those documents would be included, so.
And since there's no action on here tonight, other than your
Right.
presence, just to request this, I guess first line of action for you is to appear before Plan Commission and get their recommendation, and it'll send the council, but I don't see this council turning down education or physical activity one iota. I think you'll definitely get the support.
So I'll ask the clerk then, I'd like to go to the plan commission as soon as possible. We're not in a great hurry, but I believe the applications start coming due in the spring later on,
That's what I was gonna ask, if there's a deadline for when you need that letter.
I have to look again, because they have two different.
April
grant
comes to
cycles,
mind, but
yeah.
we have two different grants we're looking at, so I may have one or not the other, and they're both kind of powered out of Beaver Dam, so I can't differentiate right off, so.
Okay, any questions for Paul? If not, I appreciate you stopping tonight, Paul, and
Thank you. Yep.
making us appraised of this.
Thank you.
Any other communications tonight?
28th, is that a Tuesday? Here it is.
It is a Tuesday.
27th, yeah.
Last Monday of the month, the Plan Commission call.
I'll write it down.
Thank you. You're welcome. Any other communications? Seeing none. Approved payments of bills, checks of $1,991,245.42. Electronic transfers of $209,291.11. There a motion to approve the payment of bills?
So moved.
Motion by Runge, second by Grattan. Any further discussions, questions, or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Runge.
Aye.
Stratton.
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Foodie.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
Payment of bills have been approved. Mayor, I have nothing to report. Clerk treasurer have anything tonight? Kaylin?
Our audit is gonna be February 17th through the 19th, and we were informed yesterday that we will be having a spring primary. February 18th.
Thank you, Kaylee. Written reports, we have building permit report, police department report, Juneau Fire and Rescue report, and the Juneau EMS report. Any comments or questions on those? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports of commissions, or committees, commissions, and boards. We have our library director here tonight.
Hello. Things going on in the library, we have our regular January and February programs coming up. We do have a puzzle competition that we're doing at the end of the month. We have some teams signed up to do that, so that's going to be kind of a fun thing to do. We're planning a summer reading program, we're starting to get performers and book challenge and things on the schedule for the kids for summer and adults. I've been spending the bulk of this week and going into the next couple of weeks gathering statistics and user data that we have to send to the state every the end of February. And so I'll be spending the bulk of my time doing the annual report for the state. I'm working with Megan to resolve her boiler permit to operate. There's a little glitch in the paperwork for that. And then I do have some finalized window coats that I'll be going through council with as well.
Any questions for our library director? Seeing none, thank you. Moving on, plan commission, David.
Plan Commission. Well, I have a resolution to read, and because of our 2-mile extraterritorial zoning is why this is on here. That way something that happens within that radius, we have a right to say yea or nay to it, or at least check it out. Resolution 57-2024, approve certified survey map for parcels 012-1015-0334-000 and 012-1015-1021-000. Whereas the Plan Commission has received a request to review and approve a certified survey map for parcels 012-1015-0334-000 and 012-1015-1021-000. And whereas the Plan Commission recommends approving certified survey map for parcels of the same numbers as shown in Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 14th day of January 2025. I move for passage of Resolution 57-2024.
Motion by Grattan, is there a second?
A second.
Second by Foodie. Further discussion, we have Attorney Alan Larson here from, I guess, the estate, or representing the estate, or?
Right, here we go. Stand up. I represent the estate of Herbert Bowles. Mr. Bowles died about a year ago. And he's had a large number of parcels in Dodge County, this being one of them. And the personal representative of the estate has agreed to split off this small parcel to accommodate the current tenant that is residing at the address on Eagle Road. So we're asking to create that about an 1.5 acre sized parcel that we'd eventually sell to Mr. Risheshki is the name of the tenant that's there. As you noted, it's before this board because it's subject to the extraterritorial jurisdiction. We ran into some fun little speed bumps on this, discovered that part of Eagle Road that extends from Highway M to the property is actually not owned by the town. despite the town plowing it for approximately the last 50 years or so. So we had to, there's, I don't know if you noted that, but on the CSM, there's a dedication of that part of Eagle Road back to the town of Climate, which has approved that. So that's all the information I have for you.
Is there a minimum acreage in the town of Clyman for a parcel like this?
I don't know what it might be. I know that the town has already approved this. We've had Mr. Mark Olmsted, I think. I can't think of his last name. Hoffmer. Start with an O. Thank you. But he's already approved it, but I don't know what the size restriction is there.
Okay. This is usually recommended from Plan Commission, but with the holidays, we did not have a meeting, and time was of the essence to get this passed at Mr. Larson's request here, so we're forwarding it directly to the Common Council for approval. It's usually just boilerplate approval on these things. In my 10 years here, we've never blocked anything, you know, for any reason, to tell you the truth, and this certainly doesn't propose any kind of bad element for the city of Juneau. So
I would recommend you approve it for the exact same reasons, and I believe it is in compliance with the town of Clyman as far as their minimum lot size anyway as well, but I strongly recommend you approve it. There's no reason not to.
Any other questions or comments?
I was just questioning, they have the square with 2, 4, 6, 8 squares within it. What's that related to splitting this one lot?
Those are existing sheds, the S's.
Those are existing
Yeah,
what?
down in the legend, the last one has
It's
an
the
S.
top left that I'm looking at.
Oh, that's a section of the property that's on,
Okay.
correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, it's showing where it is in the plats.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Bratton,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Rudy,
Aye.
Morrow,
Aye.
Marty.
Aye.
Resolution 57, 2024 is passed.
So I brought the signature page. Can I
You
hand that to you
certainly
there?
can, yep.
I should do approach.
Yes.
Feel free.
Oops.
Haley, do you have the witnesses?
I don't know, do I?
She's a notary.
Yeah, I brought my notary too. It was fine.
Conflict for him to notarize?
I can notarize it so it's more distant.
Okay.
It needs to be notarized. I don't have my seal on it right now,
Do you have your
I-
seal just
I
yet?
have the seal, yeah.
but.
Kaylee has her seal.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't have it along, that's not.
Oh, yeah.
I don't- No, I don't carry mine. I just use my office.
It said print, I just followed up. Well, she can put hers, I think, on top.
I mean, that way it's not right here.
That's still okay.
Mr. Addison's
The other thing was one step.
Yeah, he's super picky.
Same as your dog, Dave.
I usually sit on the end of
No, that's the only one I got. I might check this out from the library there from David Addison.
Kayla, you might have to write your name, it said, I wrote, signed mine, and it said print after, but then now, the next block said city clerk, so
Okay.
just write yours in above and print your name above and stamp it.
Thank you all, by the way. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Glad we could help you out. Okay, next we have Personnel Committee case.
Okay, I'm next. Okay, the personnel met, we had a joint personnel meeting. The first thing on the agenda was to discuss the section 201, 202 in the personnel policy This has to do with the wastewater folks that have to work on the weekends. But MAC informed us that they're doing some further investigation into some options regarding that overtime on the weekend. So that will be moved to a future agenda. And we also, talked about a letter that went to hourly employee regarding flex time and overtime, and we will be putting that on a future agenda. Just going in line here, earlier, a few months ago, we talked about the possibility of doing some kind of employee appreciation and what is allowed by law. I did contact the League of Municipalities. The rule is there is a de minimis fringe benefit exception under the federal tax code for benefits which are considered its value and the frequency with which it is provided is so small as to make accounting for it unreasonable or impractical. So if we ever want to do an employee appreciation, but it can't be cash, it can't be a gift card, but we could do something de minimis, which is obviously something very minor. But it is a thought, since we do nothing for any kind of employee appreciation. No one's ever, noted for that. Then one of the new business that was brought up from the utility, they talked about time clocks for the staff. And I know that MAC has followed up with other utilities, and I have followed up with the department heads regarding their feelings about having time clocks. So then we reviewed the job description, which I will address in a resolution. And Jim brought up whether we could recruit someone to take minutes, so we have a better quality of minutes. And he's looking into that. We adjourned into closed session, and we did grant an employee carryover of 4 hours of vacation, and also we had to grant some administrative leave. So that was our meeting. I do have some resolution. Resolution 58-2024, accept letter of resignation from Jacob Calderoni, Recreation Director. Whereas the Personnel Committee has received a letter of resignation from Jacob Calderoni, Recreation Director, and whereas the Personnel Committee recommends accepting the letter of resignation effective January 3rd, 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation. I will note that just prior to this meeting, the personnel did meet and accepted this letter of resignation. So that was just before this meeting. So, passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 14th day of January 2025, I would move for passage of Resolution 58-2024.
Second.
Motion by Morose, second by Runge. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Morose,
Aye.
Runge,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Aye.
Bratton.
Aye.
Resolution 58-2024 is passed.
Resolution 59-2024. Approved job description, the Recreation Director, whereas the Personnel Committee and the Recreation Committee have reviewed the job description for the Recreation Director, and whereas the Personnel Committee and the Recreation Committee recommend to approve the job description. Now therefore that's in Exhibit A, now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 14th day of January 2025. I move for passage of Resolution 59-2024.
Motion by Morose, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Runge. Here there further discussion?
now we're starting to talk about options for this position. Part-time possibly, this says full-time. Is that a consideration?
Yeah, I mean, if this changed, we're gonna have to change the entire job description, so that brings all kinds of things up in the air.
Well, I second this for discussion purposes. And as much as I, I took the handle of this thing, I don't know if this, I think we need more input on the job description, to be honest with you. We have some time in front of us to do that. And I think the wise thing would be to table this to a future time and see if there's any other changes we want to do with this. I mean, we're not under a time constraint right now. And if, everybody has a chance to look this over and add some ideas, some conditions, some changes to it, now's the time to do it. And I know we went through this last time, but it was the scenario was different. And I know we made changes in it. And I guess if we were advertising, we're not advertising for the position yet, are we?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we just did
Okay.
just before this meeting.
Right.
We just passed the motion to
To-
fill the position.
Yeah. I guess I know some of the fact that we didn't get a second on this rather easily. I have a feeling that there's some constraints people on the council would like to make to this. And
So what do we do with the motion that we just passed to fill it?
we can just make it, you can still advertise for the position. I
Well,
mean,
we advertise in good faith that this position, and then you certainly have to have, we can use the old job description, right? You can advertise with the old job description.
That was gonna be my suggestion.
And-
But then we are advertising in good faith for a full-time recreation director using the old job description. We
Right.
can continue to modify a new job description, but you have the old job description, it's an hourly position, and, with restrictive overtime. So, that is a job that will be advertised.
You would entertain an option to go part-time on this, would you not?
Would I?
Yeah, I mean, if that was more viable for candidates?
Well, that is up to the recreation
Yeah.
committee.
Well,
I mean, so this,
I'm laying
this,
down.
we've had a full-time director. That line is difficult. We've had this full-time director for years, like, for years. So, and we've got recreation committee members that have been on for years and are much more knowledgeable about the recreation program. And we would need their input. I really believe that their input is essential before this body would make a decision, so that you would understand what, their position is on part-time, full-time, or what I believe what Horcon has is a part-time rec director, and then they also contract for programming. So, if you have those two combined, is it cheaper? I don't know. I don't know exactly what the Y provides.
I'm assuming that the part-time rec director, probably that waives benefit package for the city of Horicon, I would guess, or prorated benefits to reduce the cost of the community. I'm thinking, but I don't know for a fact.
I know, but I would think that the council would want the input of our seasoned rec committee members on this matter. And so now I don't know, I feel like we're kind of hung up. Because it's not, I've already put the agenda out for tomorrow. So there's no action item.
Okay.
So we are talking a few months down the road. And even to engage a contract, I'm sure that would take a while. So, are we looking at, it could be several months? And in the meantime, are we in good faith advertising a full-time job?
Well, we can hold off on the advertising for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or 6 weeks. There's no, you know, we can advertise it when we need to. And,
At least you're covered with, well, the next item of business would be an interim director. At least you're covered with somebody that knows the ropes on that, if you're not bringing somebody in green.
But I will remind you, Gail is only gonna do a very limited amount.
Yep.
Very limited amount.
Yep.
There's gonna be people that are gonna start calling for soccer, and for rental of shelters, and for summer programming, and she's not gonna do anything of that sort. So we have a one-person department with no person, except for a person that's gonna do very limited open and shutting of the community center.
I think it might be worthwhile though to explore, with the recreation committee, to explore some of these other options, like the YMCA option, or somebody said something about
Dodgeland?
the Dodgeland.
I don't know what the,
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
and again, who will do that? I guess,
I would think the recreation committee.
well, I'll see if there's a member on the recreation committee that will do that. I am not going to do that. I'm out of here in a couple months. It is not good to engage another contract, you know, when I'm not gonna be here. I would not be here to follow
I
through.
understand that, Kate.
So,
but
I will see if the
recreation committee as a whole should explore
Right,
these options.
but it's kinda like, I'm running a tournament because there's nobody to run a tournament.
right.
I will ask if there is somebody on this recreation committee that will approach.
Fair enough?
I mean, but I have a letter, right? I have a letter that says, if what we did to Jacob causes a problem, that the city administration will take care of it. So I think it is up to the city administration. It's up to the rec committee to see if they're open to this, what they see are the pros, the cons, the barriers, and then it's up to city administration to take it. Because I have a nice letter from Boardman Clark, very clear about that.
Very good. Any other questions?
What time is your committee meeting tomorrow night?
5:30,
Is that gonna be at the rec center?
rec center.
Okay. That's gonna be a tough one. Tell my wife I'm going to a committee meeting on her anniversary.
Bring her along.
So,
Yeah.
Tell her you're taking her out.
Yeah, taking her out.
so we have a motion and a second, so there has to be a vote on the job description.
Correct. Any other questions before I call the question? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Burrows,
Aye.
Rungy,
No.
Evans,
No.
Booty,
No.
Groton.
No.
Resolution 5924 has been, 2024 has been defeated. Next resolution, Katie.
Pardon?
Next
Oh.
resolution.
All right, so this also, we just passed this just before this meeting. Resolution 60, 2024, to approve Gail Amsler to step in as interim rec director. That's a broad term, I think, but whereas the Personnel Committee has reviewed the need to hire an interim for the recreation director, whereas the Personnel Committee recognizes the responsibilities be limited to assisting the 2 tournaments and opening and closing the community center. Whereas the Personnel Committee recommends hiring Gail Amsler at her current wage of $14.79 per hour to step in as the Recreation Director effective January 6, 2025, contingent on approval from the Recreation Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau, this 14th day of January 2025, passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 14th day of January 2025, I recommend for passage.
Second.
of Resolution 16, 2024.
Motion by motion by Morose, second by Foodie. Any further discussion on that? We're very thankful to have Gail be able to step in and interim. She'll be a big help. Another question, roll call please.
Morose,
Aye.
Foodie,
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Groton,
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
Resolution 60, 2024 is passed. Anything else from personnel, Kate?
No.
Moving back to finance, Richard.
We didn't meet.
I knew that's why I jumped right
That's okay. I wasn't that.
in. Public safety, Jane.
Or Public Works. Is that
Oh.
next? What was-
Public safety.
I have no report, we had no meeting.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Now public works.
We also have no meeting.
Cable TV, I know we have a
We
meeting.
did have a meeting. And we had a meeting just to discuss to update the owl cameras, the necessary purchases that need to be made, and just an update on cable TV overall. That was our meeting.
Any questions for Jane? Okay. Moving on, CDA, we didn't have a meeting. Rec committee,
We didn't meet.
utility committee, commission.
We had a meeting. So, the pretty routine month at the utilities, quiet for December. The commission approved the purchase of a snowplow for the new skid loader. They had to have a new one because the old snowplow was too narrow to work on this skid loader. So they sold the smaller snowplow to DPW for $4,000. The main transformer at the wastewater plant was damaged after installation some months ago. And the contractor, Staub, has agreed to cover any future costs that would have been covered under the original structural warranty. The fire on North Main Street resulted in 2 residences having their electric service being disabled. One house has been restored, but the other one had too much damage to be restored until the service wires could be replaced. The majority of the housing at the Sunset View complex are not occupied. I think there's 4 units occupied, is that correct?
I thought so.
7? Okay. Anyways, there's a lot of them that aren't, and the empty units have solar panels. So that creates credit balances on their bills that the utility department has to absorb. So in other words, it costs the utility money for those solar panels that aren't being used by tenants. The PSC rules do not allow disconnection even if there are no tenants. So hopefully the units get built soon.
How many about are empty yet?
Is there 32?
30.
30? More than 20. I drove past the Addie Joss Field today. I see the lights are down. The poles have been shortened. So the lights are gone. The poles still have to be taken down. And then out at the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, will be substantially completed by March 1st. And the crew out there is training on the operation of the oxidation ditch, and they're tweaking the system for best results. And that's about it.
Any questions for Richard? The old business? New business? Jane, you wanna read the licenses, please?
Provisional license for Haley Malone. I recommend to approve the provisional license for 45 days.
Motion by Foodie, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Groton. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And regular bartenders licenses that expire June 30th, 2025. I approve the licenses, or motion to approve the license for Jeffrey Fields, Haley Malone, Madeline Keel, Zoe Hall, Troy Stock, Joshua Thoney, Aiden Hartwig. Aiden Hartwig.
Motion by Foodie, is there a second? on that?
Second.
Second by Rungy, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. No other further business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Entertained.
Motion by Foodie, second by Rungy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. This meeting is closed.